In this video, we talk about most controversial topic of GATE computer science, that is serial access versus parallel access. If a question is given, should we follow the strategy of serial access or parallel access? Serial access is also known as hierarchical access and parallel access is known as simultaneous access. So let's try to understand first what is serial access and what is parallel access. After that, we will see which one we should go with. So I assume that the cache access time is Tc and main memory access time is, let's say, Tm, and hit ratio is H. Alright. Let's begin with serial access. In serial access, processor requests the cache for the data word, and if it is available, then cache will transfer it to the processor. If it is not available, then the same request will be forwarded to the main memory. Then main memory will forward the desired data along with the block to the cache. Correct? That means, here the block transfer will happen. Now let's see more details like how exactly it happens. First of all, using this address, we look into the cache. Let's say if the data is not available there, then with the same register, then we look into the main memory. So let's say this is the desired block. Alright. So this is the desired data. The simple idea is transfer this block to the desired cache block. Alright. Okay, maybe this one is the desired block. So this is your word. Alright. So let me assume that we have 4 words in this block. 1, 2, 3, 4. Second one is the desired word. Now once it is available, then transfer this word 2 to the data register. Alright. So that is a simple idea. But we can do a small optimization. That small optimization is first transfer this 2 to the cache at the same time to the data register. Okay. After that, continue transferring the remaining words into the cache block like 2, then 3, then 4, then 1. Alright. So small optimization. Now let's find out average access time in this serial access mode. Alright. Tc is cache access time, Tm is main memory access time, and H is hit ratio. Let's say hit ratio is 90%. What does it mean? That means 90% of the time we just consult cache, right? And 10% of the time we consult first cache, then main memory, right? So it's a story. Try to understand it as a story. So in this story, what happens? The story is about when the cache hit occurs, right? So when there is a cache hit, then we first directly access the cache and we get the data. So the time required for that is cache access time, right? So here we have to write Tc. Now in this 10% of the time, what happens? We go to the cache. So then we spend some time there and we realize that there is no data available, required data. Then we will visit main memory. Alright. So then for that, after visiting the main memory, we transfer the data to the cache. That entire thing is main memory access time. So let's take it as Tm. Once data is available in the cache again, then we access this cache. So this is the formula. But 90 by 100 is actually hit ratio, correct? So the formula will be H into Tc plus 1 minus H, this 10% is 1 minus H into 2 into Tc plus Tm. But if you recall the optimization, what was the optimization we did? So rather than first transferring this entire data to cache then to processor, so first word, like we directly transfer to the processor. Let's say the words are 2, 3, 4, 1 we thought, right? Okay, the first word will be transferred to cache and processor, then 3 will be transferred to cache and 4 will be transferred to cache and 1 will be transferred to cache. This is exactly the main memory access time, right? So this is exactly main memory access time. That's why I can say that when we do the optimization, it would be H into Tc plus 1 minus H into Tc plus Tm. Let's look into parallel access. In parallel access, you can see 2 paths you see. One is connected to cache, one is connected to main memory. That means we access the cache and main memory parallelly. Alright. So because of that, what advantage we get if you see, I have to draw this picture to explain you what is the advantage. This is, let's say, your cache access time. Alright. And this is your main memory access time. Because we are starting accessing the cache and accessing the main memory at a time, you can see this possible overlapping, right? Yeah. So till this one, cache access time. Now when we start accessing the cache and main memory, see it would be like this. This is the time period where we are accessing the cache. If this is a point where you will know whether there is a hit or miss. If there is a hit, then we stop here. If there is a miss, then we continue accessing the main memory. Okay, and we get the data here. So finally, in the worst case, how much time it will take? Exactly, memory access time. In the best case, that means when there is a hit, then how much time it will take? It is exactly equal to cache access time. Now let us look at the average access time formula. Here it would be h into, when there is a cache hit, what happens? We simply access this, right? So h into tc. Plus when there is a miss. Now for that you should know the story, what is exactly happening. The story is, first we, go to the memory here in this period and we access it and we transfer that data to cache, right? So that takes m units of time. After that, now data is available in the cache, simply take it. It takes how much time? Tc, right? Here it is Tm and it is Tc. So this is a formula. But if we do optimization like we did here, then formula will be h into Tc plus 1 minus h into directly Tm, right? So this is the final answer. Now most awaiting and interesting question, which access model we have to follow, especially answering gate questions, right? That is important for us. To understand that, first you should understand which model is followed by the real world architectures. This one are serial access or parallel access. To understand that, first you should understand positives and negatives of these two models. What is the advantage of parallel access? Definitely, you can see that there is a small, if you see the formula, it is h into Tc plus 1 minus h into Tm, right? Okay. So let's take some examples of Tc and Tm values. Typical Tc and Tm values will be, maybe if the cache access time is 1 nanosecond, then this Tm will be around 100 nanosecond. Okay, that would be the differences. In this scenario, you have a formula h into Tc plus 1 minus h into Tm. Second one, h into Tc plus 1 minus h into Tc plus Tm. Okay. So if you see this one, practically this 1 nanosecond is almost negligible, right? And especially the hit ratio usually will be around 95%, let's say. That means with 0.05 possibility, we are going to the main memory. In that also, this 1 plus 100 is exactly equal to 100, right? Approximately 100 equal to 101. So there is no significant achievement. But what is the trade-off here? You are getting the slight advantage. Okay, let me note down first. There is a slight advantage in the access time, right? Slight advantage in access time. At the cost of what? At the cost of many things. The first point is, because of this parallel path, it adds little bit complexity to the design, correct? So that means extra circuitry is required. Sir, can you please elaborate why extra circuitry is needed? Simple. Because parallelly accessing main memory and cache, if the cache hit occurs, so by that time you already accessing the main memory, isn't it? So you have to stop it immediately whenever there is a hit here. Whenever there is a hit, you stop it. To stop it, then you need a circuitry, right? Okay, a complicated circuitry is required. All right. Second thing, see, every time you are accessing the main memory, that means some signals are propagating through this line, correct? Right. And some at least you are doing some extra activity that consumes power, right? Power is very important. Most of the times in academics we neglect this area, like power consumption is more here. All right, okay, is more. Now the third one is bandwidth or throughput. So here I want to compute the number of memory like number of requests which are going to main memory per unit amount of time. Okay, let me consider one cycle of time. In one cycle of time, okay, let's say one clock cycle, system generates m memory references. All right, out of them, how many will go to main memory? Okay, let's first start with serial access. In serial access, what happens? Question number 1. Does every memory request goes to main memory? No. Then how many will go? So it depends on hit ratio. Yes or no? Example, the hit ratio is 90%. Then can I say that out of 100 requests, only 90 would go to 90 would be served by cache, but only 10 would go to main memory, right? 10 goes to main memory. Now, if you have m requests, then how many would go to main memory? Is it not m by 100 into 10? Yes. So that means 1 by 10th of m per one cycle of time, correct? This is the bandwidth of main memory. So now second one, parallel access. In parallel access, how many memory requests are going? If you have m memory requests, out of them, how many are going to main memory? Everything, right? So every memory request goes to main memory. Whether it is served or not doesn't matter, but whether it is taking it or not, correct? So how many requests are going m? That means here the bandwidth is m requests per cycle. So in one cycle of time, here m, here 1 by 10 m. Where is the more bandwidth? Here, correct? That means you have to design a memory system here, main memory system, which has high bandwidth. Alright. So that is one more negative point. Now you tell me which one we should prefer, like which one modern architectures would prefer. Obviously serial access. So that's why you take any textbook, they only talk about serial access. So in the GATE exam also, that's why you consider serial access, because parallel access is not at all implemented by any machine. Alright.